Welcome to my tour of my childhood home. In the 1960s, my home was in Winchester, Massachusetts at 17 Crescent Road when I was a child. What you're about to see is from my own fond memories, with the great assistance of Blender, which is a really wonderful open source tool for doing modeling and animation. Granted, things may not be exactly correct, but we are just reliving my own fond memories. Let's start with a Christmas Eve stroll up Crescent Road from Winthrop Street. The red house to my left was Stephen Pauly's home. Stephen was a friend of mine in school. To my left, that red house was the home of Peter Jocelyn before they moved further up the street. I don't know who these people were, but they were faithful customers of my childhood paper route. The last house on the right belonged to Mr. Moody, who was the head librarian at Northeastern University. That house, shining like a beacon on top of the hill, is my childhood home. And by the way, I was the person who did all the decorating for the house and the yard every Christmas. Before I came along, there were no lights or anything at all in that house. So let's go on up those steps to my childhood home. And by the way, I have spent many hours as a child shoveling the snow and ice off of those steps. That was a very difficult but satisfying task that I chose to do. Looking from the top of the banking, you see that beautiful white colonial. That was the home of Dana Stoffagan, yet another friend from school. Our front porch was a little strange. It had a roof only over half of it. Why? We don't know. Let's take a quick look around the neighborhood from the porch. The Crescent Road, the Stoffagan's home, and the hill below us. There's the part of the porch that was no roof and it always got snow. Here we are. And by the way, my parents always reminded us to keep both doors closed to keep the cold air out in the wintertime. To the left of the stairs, we're not going upstairs now. To the right is the piano, where many of us learn how to play music. This is the infamous telephone booth. When that phone rang, we all shouted at once, "I'll get it!" There's the stove and the counter in the kitchen. The pantry stayed ahead. The back door, the kitchen table, and the door to the basement. And now we're going to take a look in the pantry. First thing you see on the left is the iconic Westinghouse antique refrigerator, and there's the iconic antique Westinghouse dishwasher. But you never saw one of those before. So, moving around in the pantry, we're about to head into the dining room. First thing you see is the sideboard with Grandma's antique sterling silverware, with which we ate only once per year at Christmas Eve. The house next door belonged to the Jocelyns. Peter Jocelyn was and still is a very close friend of mine from childhood. That beautiful wooden cabinet under the window is the stereo cabinet that Dad built for Mom for Christmas. Next to the dining room is the living room. Many families' evenings were spent here. You can see out the front of the house and out the side again, seeing Peter Jocelyn's home. There's a fireplace. Much time was spent before the roaring fire. And now let's finish with a peek at the wonderful view that Dad had from his office when he had to bring work home with him. Well, that's it. I want to thank you very much for accompanying me in my childhood home, and of course, I love you all.